Happy weekend, everybody. Jen here. Hope you all had a great week. This week, I'm going to be talking about different pharmaceuticals that you can be taking when you're diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis, and what the steps your doctor may take to decide what drug to put you on. So currently, I'm on humira, which is an injectable drug that I take every other week. But before you can get to this, which is considered a biologic, they want to put you on to some NSAIDs, so a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. And they'll do two different types before they can legally place you on a biological, this is in Canada. I'm not sure what the case is in the States, but in Canada we have to go through two non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs for, I believe it's 6 months each one before you can be approved to go on to humira. Myself, what I started off with was naproxen, basically at a higher dose that you would typically take than Aleve, so Aleve is naproxen. Did that for a while, didn't alleviate any of my symptoms, and from there I went on to Celebrex. Celebrex was fairly decent in that it did help with some symptoms, but it did have a lot of side effects, so there's a lot of stomach distress and whatnot. They do put you on other pills to help with that, but I just felt it wasn't a right fit for myself. So from there we went on to humira. And then with humira, I have to say within Canada, they do have a great client support system through Advocare, which is the company that makes and produces humira, has a nurse that follows you. And if they leave or if they're on vacation, they have another nurse that will come on and pick up your caseload. So at the beginning, they're going to be calling you quite often to see how you're doing, have any help with you, if you have any questions. Also, they're the ones that if you need more biohazard containers, they'll set that up to send that out to you, and just to see if you have any questions concerning what you're going through. If you ever have any side effects that you're not sure of and you can't get a hold of your doctor, call them. They're licensed nurses as well, and they know their drug in and out, and they're specialized in that specific drug, so they can help you quite a bit with that. Also, they do help with drug compensation. So for those of you viewers in the States, Canada, we do have a universal healthcare system, so we don't have to pay to see the doctor, but we do have to pay for our drugs, unless you're on a private insurance company plan, which I am. Humira is a bit over $800 each injection, so that's quite costly when you have to take it twice a month. I'm lucky that my company covers it completely, but even if you're not completely covered, Advocare does have a support system that can help you to help lower the cost as well. So there's that for the lower income people who might not be able to afford outright taking this drug. It is available for everybody. They're not going to charge you up the wazoo and you won't be able to take it. So there is that option as well for everyone. So what I'm going to do is, I had filmed last week when I was taking my injection, the whole procedure that I do, little tips and tricks that I find help, that I've learned along the way. It might not help you, but it might. So it doesn't hurt to watch, and feel free to watch. Here you go. So here I have what I usually set up before I take my injection. Typically what I'll do is I'll get my biohazard container. This is just an ice pack that I take out. Kleenex for afterwards. Alcohol wipe to wipe down, and then I actually take this out a couple hours beforehand, because I do find that humira hurts a lot less if it's been warmed up to room temperature. Good thing to know about this guy is once taken out to room temperature, it's good out of the fridge for 2 weeks. So if ever you're traveling and you're worried about keeping it on ice, you can just travel with it like this. That's fine. It's just to remember that if you don't use it, you need to use it within that 2-week time frame, so it's not going to be good afterwards. Another thing is that these are very expensive, so you don't want to chance not using it. The only time that you wouldn't use it is if you're feeling like you have an infection. So a cold is fine, but the minute you have like a fever or anything like that, you don't want to take your humira at that point. You can hold it off for a couple of days or until you actually break that fever. Sorry, I have a little friend who wants to help out. Kiki. So, first thing that I usually do, and I'm just going to actually set you guys up so that you can see what I'm doing. Sorry, Mr. Keekers wants to help. is I'll just typically open this guy up and get him all prepared before I actually give myself the injection. So you'll see that these are numbered. It says 1 and 2, so that just tells you the order of which you're going to be taking these guys off. Another thing, humira, you want to change your injection site each time you take this. So you can either use your stomach or your legs. I typically find that my stomach hurts less than my legs. I find that my doctor says that men seem to find the legs hurt less. Women seem to find that the stomach hurts less. And you want to change your injection site each time. Humira does have a lovely app that you can use that it just keeps track of where you're actually giving yourself your injection each 2 weeks. So get that ready. I typically like to just prepare. You always want to make sure first that the expiration date is good. So you can see 2019, we're good there. You want to make sure that you can see fluid within it. So you see a little bubble going back and forth. So we're good, we have fluid in there. So you want to take your number 1 off first. When you take it off, your little needle is in here. It's really hard to see because it's super tiny. And then you want to take off your number 2 so that you have your button to push. Now, what I like to say is people who take this for the first time, you might be scared of the needle. It's not the needle that hurts. The needle is so tiny that you hardly even feel that going in. What hurts is the actual fluid that's going in that burns. So that is why I usually take out an ice pack, because I find if I ice down my site before I take the injection, it does numb the pain quite a bit. All right, so let's get ready for injection. All right, so now that we're ready, what I typically like to do is ice it down for a few minutes beforehand, then we're going to swab it to disinfect the area, and then we're going to give the injection. So I'm just going to angle you down so that you can see my stomach, because that's where I give myself my injection. Sorry, knocked you over. Make it so it's not so glowy white. Don't mind that. And this time I'm going to actually be injecting over here. So what I do, just put the ice on. It's pretty cold, especially considering that it's been so cold up here in Montreal for the last few days. So kind of cold adverse right now, that anything cold I do not like, but that's fine. We will just get this over and done with. Once I find that that's fairly cold, I'm going to take my alcohol wipe, and we're going to do this kind of like a surgical site. So I always like to start from the center and work your way out. Reasoning why we don't want to rub over an area that we've already rubbed over with alcohol. Reasoning is we don't want to rub any dirt back into the area that we just cleaned. So start from the center, work your way out. Take your syringe. This is your button on this side. This side is where the needle is. I like to angle it so that you can actually see the window, because the window will have a little yellow guy come up to show you that your injection's complete. Push it down where you have swabbed. I like to take a nice deep breath before I do this. And you want it about an inch away from your belly button. Down, you can go underneath or up. You don't want to go on top. Okay, so we place that, push in. Deep breath. On exhale, we're going to push the button. Yellow. And you can see now what I'm talking about, that there's a little yellow indicator saying that we are done, so we are good. Put some pressure on. Not so bad. Oh, now I made it too dark. There we go. Hello. And then what we're going to do is we just have our little biohazard. You're just going to push to open. And then we just discard the whole needle right in there. And when these guys get full, you bring over to your pharmacy for disposal. The cap that you have, these can go right into the garbage. I'm not sure if they're recyclable because it doesn't really say anything on them about being recyclable. So I haven't been recycling them. Bad me. So that's it for the injection. I'll bring you a bit closer that you can see. I don't even have any blood coming out. You just see the circle of where you had pushed in. You don't even see an injection mark. There's a tiny, tiny, tiny one right there. So yeah, there's a tiny little one. but nothing big. I do find that I do get a sight reaction, namely, all right, getting good lighting, namely in that maybe not the day of, maybe near the end of tomorrow, I'll start to get a bit of redness and it gets really itchy, but it goes away after another day or so, and it's something that is a known side effect. So it's not something that's super uncomfortable, but it is something to be aware of. If it gets worse than just slightly red and itchy, that's when I would probably contact the doctor just to let them know that you might be having an allergic reaction to it. Like I said, it hasn't gotten any worse, it hasn't gotten any better, but it's kind of a site reaction to the injection, which can happen. Other than that, I haven't really had any side effects, so to speak, from Humira. I know that you can get psoriasis outbreaks from it. Skin's been pretty clear. I'm always red and dry in the face. That's something that hasn't changed since I've started Humira. It's helped a bit with my gastric issues that kind of go hand in hand with the disease, just because it does sometimes infect your gut, and it does tend to kind of give you IBS-D syndromes for myself. So that's something that we sometimes are recommended to go on a FODMAP diet. So that'll be something that I'll talk in another vlog of diets and what we would need to do. It's not a diet that you're on forever. What it is it's an elimination diet to try and see what your triggers are for causing your gastric upset. But I do have to say that now that I've been on Humira, really it's reduced drastically those issues, except for certain foods that really do affect me quite badly. So pasta is one of them. And as much as I love pasta, every time I eat it, I always get an effect from it. So that's something that I basically have to kind of give up. Or I can go to the rice-based pasta. That doesn't seem to affect me. So it might be the semolina in it. I'm not sure. So like I said, this will be something on another vlog that we can discuss. Thanks again, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. So you see how it is. It's not really painful at all. And really this time I was wanting to show you how I do have a tiny slight reaction sometimes. Didn't get one this time. It was so slight that the camera wouldn't have been able to pick it up. So as you can see, with time, these slight reactions will go away. They still are itchy from time to time, and if you do itch it, yes, it's going to get a bit more red, but besides that, not much of an issue, not much side effects or anything. I haven't had any, so to speak. I know at the beginning I had 1 week where I was very depressed, but I don't know if that was so much a side effect of the drug or a side effect of the diagnosis. So once that week was over, I was fine, and I haven't had an episode like that since, so I can't say if it was a drug or not. I know both my doctor and Advocare said that it's not a common side effect that they've heard of, so possibly it could have just been me reacting to the news more so than the drug. I didn't get a chance to post during my taking of it, but what I'll do is I'll post right now an image of what the Advocare app looks like, so that you can take, so that helps you remind you when to take your injections, and it also tracks the site of the injection that you take so that you can know how to rotate, because we do want to rotate taking our injections so that you're not always irritating the same site, because you can start to have scar tissue build up, and that is why they recommend changing around the site so that you're not going to have as much irritation. So I'll insert that right here. So hopefully that helps you guys when you're doing your search. Just put in Humira and it will pop it up right in your Apple. I'm not sure about Android, but I'm pretty sure it would do the same in Android because it's available for both. So feel free to go look that up. At the beginning I was using it all the time. Now I can say that since I've gotten into a routine, I'm not using it quite as much, but it is there to help you out, and it sets reminders for you. Now I can't sign off without saying that I have my little helper right here. You probably noticed in my first video, my other cat, Skoggy, was beside me the whole time. This time I set up in the bedroom just because Dave, the husband, is watching TV in the living room. But of course, this one decided to follow me in here and has been sitting here and watching the whole time. I think he's quite interested in the fact that I have a little ring light around my phone, so it's quite interesting for him to be looking at that. So, as always, if there's anything that you guys have questions for, feel free to ask down below. Please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you know anytime that I upload, which hopefully will be every Sunday. And moving forward, probably for the next few weeks, it's going to be a bit more on the lighter side, maybe packing trips and stuff like that, because I will be traveling a teeny bit with work, and then in about less than a month, I'll be going down to California and Las Vegas and doing some Disneyland stuff. So I'd like to take you guys along on our planning for that as well as our trip. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And with no further ado, I'll sign off and I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.